Hi, I'm Sean from Sewing and Vacuum Warehouse in Houston, and today we're going to be talking about, well, log cabin. Well, log cabin patterns, kind of like we did last week, but I wanted to show you how easy and how versatile they are. One of the reasons we're doing this is because we are hosting a trunk show for Tilda Fabrics this week. And now we're going to be doing it this week in Houston and next week in Conroe, or vice versa. Either way, check the website and you'll get the dates. I wanted to talk about the log cabin again because I wanted to show its versatility and how it works really well with a fabric line. Now, a lot of people get really nervous about picking the right fabric for the right project. If you don't know exactly what fabric you want to use, try finding a collection. Nowadays, you have your rock star fabric designers like Tilda Pink, and you've got K Facet. So you've got a bunch out there, and they make these collections to coordinate with one another. I know for Tilda, all the colors really kind of mesh nicely into the specialty prints, like the pets or the African animals or Alice in Wonderland. So today we're going to do a callback to a couple of videos that we did. One is going to be just last week when we were doing the wonky log cabin. Today's log cabin is going to be that traditional log cabin. We're also going to be calling back to that paper piecing video that we did with the economy block, and you can find that pattern on our website. But today we're going to be doing that very specific log cabin, and it's much easier than you think. Working with a paper piecing and a collection, it's going to pull itself together a lot faster than you would normally do if you were agonizing over the prints and the colors. So let's jump right into it and just do this a real quick little video. Okay, so this is where we're starting today. You can see that we've pulled fabrics that were if they weren't side by side in a collection, you might not put these together. But if you're looking, Tilda Fabrics does such a great job with colors working with each other. So you've got this blue in the elephant, you've got this blue in this stripe here, you've got the gold of the tree and the gold here, and then all these other pinks and reds are featured in different patterns. This is our paper piecing pattern that we're going to do. It is a log cabin, and this is a traditional log cabin. Sometimes if you're working on something small and you want to make sure that your seams are perfect, really, go with the pattern piecing. It is really quite easy. Now I'm going to take these off and I'm going to check, let me get my tape measure out. You really want to make sure that your test block is exactly the size that you need it to be. And now I'm struggling with the tape measure to find the right end. Here it is. So, let's see. So from 3 to 4, we have a 1-inch block. So we know that this prints out, this was printed out exactly where it needed to be. And if we measure the block, this is going to be a 6-inch block. And right here, your cutting lines, or this is actually going to be your seam allowance so that you can sew this block into something else. I'm going to take and move these out of the way, and we're going to start there, but I want this center square to be fussy cut, and I want it to be this right here. This ballerina right here holding the umbrella, and it's a small block, so I've got to be really careful with how that gets positioned. Now I want to show you right here, we had talked about the color coordinating. So you've got all these colors that are going to appear in other patterns, but you can see how they all go together. And I'm going to bring out this right here. So this we talked about in a previous video. This is the Caterpillar Glow, and it really works beautifully when you're fussy cutting. So you can't see here, probably because of the lighting, but I have positioned that ballerina with the umbrella right in the center. And now I have it here. And remember, we're going to be building on this side, and we're going to be sewing from the other side, so you have those lines. You'll see that I went ahead and drew out the boundary boxes, even the seam allowance, but this is done with a friction pin. So the moment I hit this with an iron, it's going to disappear. And we'll do that on the very first piece that we sew over here. So it's going to disappear pretty quickly. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull one of the pieces here, and we're going to start with this one. Let me go ahead and pull this off. I'm going to move the Caterpillar Glow out of the way. Yeah, you want to make your crafting more or less stressful or stress-free. We are going to sew from this side, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this fabric upside down here, and when I sew on the other side, we are then going to pull that back. We'll cut it, we'll pull it back, we'll press it, just like we did in our paper piecing video. Anyway, so we're going to start here. I'm going to come back. You'll see me trim this one and then go through the rest of them, but I'll see you in a moment. So here is our first stitch. Now you'll see that I stitched right along the line. I went 2 stitches over, and it's not going to be a problem because we are going to sew over this line anyway. In fact, we're going to sew over it on the very next square. Or no, I guess we're not. We're going to be a little further along here when we sew over it, but it doesn't matter. Now when I pull this over, I am going to want to fold this paper right there, because that is where I'm going to cut it down to my seam allowance. And I'm going to use a tool just right here. And we have talked about this in the past. These Quilter Select no skid rulers are fantastic. I am really trying to move that and it's not going anywhere. I'm going to take my rotary cutter and we're just going to cut both of those just right there. Now when I pull this back, this is going to go right here. I've got a nice clean line, and then I can come around and start adding to that all the way around. So I'm going to press this really quickly, and then I'm going to show you how that looks, and then I'm going to finish up the rest of the block. We have talked about all of these techniques in previous videos, and I'm going to put a link below to all the videos. It's like 2 or 3 videos that we're talking about today. Anyway, let me go press this. We're going to pick another color to go here and then work our way around. So it's not going to take us very long, but I'll show you just the first couple and then we'll go from there. So we're going to work our way all the way around, and you can see we talked about this in last week's. You're going to start here and then you're going to keep building, 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 building. Now these segments are going to get longer and longer, but that's going to be our longest piece right there. Let's go ahead and pick a fabric that's going to come next to this. Now I want something that's going to have more of a solid feel to it. Let's see, how about, this is perfect. Now it's not a solid, but it does give us that feel of solid. So I'm going to try to keep these pattern, solid, but you know, like I said, not quite solid, but that's where we're going to be right there. Now it doesn't look like much here, but we have already started to really clean up those lines. I mean, you can see right here, that's a very sharp line, but we have to go ahead and trim this before we can go on. Remember, you're going to take your paper, you're going to fold it back right up against that line, and because the paper is perforated, it's going to fold nicely. Now, when I do the trim here, not only am I trimming this piece that is, well, the last one we did, but it's going to trim out everything around it. So let me see here. Yeah, so everything's right where it's supposed to be. Now you're going to trim again at 1/4 inch, and we're going to line that up and then take that off. I got a little snag there. And now I'm going to push this back. I'm going to press this real quick and I will be right back. And now with the magic of editing, you can see that really clean corner right there. And we're going to do that for all of these and build on that. You also can see right here that the lines that I used to fussy cut the ballerina, those are gone because of the heat. Friction pins are amazing. They're, as far as I'm concerned, a little bit of magic. So now I want to go ahead and we're going to go back to a pattern, and let's go with one we haven't had yet. And we're going to go with the pinks. So we got the pinks and greens, which appear in this as well, but we're going to do that right here. And I'm going to put that on. Now I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead because y'all have seen our videos. You know how easy paper piecing is, especially on this kind of simple block. So I'm going to finish this out. When I see you next, we're going to be trimming the full piece, and you're going to see how this collection by Tilda is going to just look beautiful together. All right, we'll see you in a few. So here we are just right before the final trim. You can see that these all work really well together. Now when I do this final trim, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to trim right along the studded line. I don't want to trim in it, inside of it, because that's going to be our seam allowance. So just like we did on all the other trims, I'm just going to take one of our rulers, which is again Quilter Select non-skid ruler, which really has saved my butt several times, and we're just going to trim all these off. Now even though we had done our trimming and we had excess on the other side, it really didn't look much like a log cabin because we had too much excess out here. But when we get this trimmed up, you're gonna see that exactly how it should appear. And we're gonna go right here. And one more. Now, if I did everything correctly, when I flip this over, boom, I have a log cabin. I got a little snag there, but I'm gonna move that out. And here it is, 6-inch square. It's that foundation paper piecing that created these really sharp lines. Everything is exactly at the right dimensions. Everything hits their corners right where they're supposed to, because you're just sewing on that line. It's really a fantastic way to go. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today. I will have links below to the other videos that I referenced here. Remember, Tilda, Sewing and Vacuum Warehouse, Houston and Conroe. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to have that trunk show in our stores. You want to see the new fabric. Tilda always comes out with beautiful, beautiful coordinating fabrics. Don't worry about color matching. Like I said, whenever you have something like this, where it shows you what your colors are, and if you look right here, they're going to, this color is this one predominantly. You've got this in the reds. You've got your tans in here and your yellows. So yeah, just enjoy it. For reference, I did this entire block in about 20 minutes. And that would even be shorter if I were sitting at something like the Kangaroo and Joey. We talked about this last week, how sewing tables and sewing cabinets are made so that you can sew, press, trim, sew, press, trim, and all you're doing is swiveling in a chair right there. So take a look at, well, a whole bunch of stuff. We've got videos that support this, and I'll have those links below. We also had the Caterpillar Glow, which helped us tremendously in doing that fussy cutting right there. Really nice, graceful look there. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Sean from Sewing and Vacuum Warehouse in Houston, and we'll see you next time.